Welcome to Newsboy on Track for Wednesday the 20th of March. Well, the dust has only just settled on the Cheltenham Festival and we're now into the flat season. It's the Lincoln at Doncaster on Saturday, as fiendishly difficult a handicap as any of those we've found at the home of jump racing. David Williams of Ladbrokes has very kindly agreed to talk us through this 1 mile feature, but first he gave us his reflections on the 4 days of Cheltenham.
It was day 4, Friday, the final day, that was without question the best day for the punters. Salsify, Our Connor, Alderwood at Fisher's Cross, and of course Bobsworth in the Gold Cup. They all went in. We were crowing on Thursday night, I think you could say. We were feeling pretty good about the world. Going into Friday, we gave much of that back and more. As we left the Cotswolds, I think it was probably the punters who were smiling. They had much the better of it. Over the 4 days, probably a score draw, but yeah, we left with a few wounds to nurse.
So would you say it was honours even at the end of the 4 days?
I think it would, yeah, and that is a little bit disappointing for the bookies considering the shape that we were in after 3 days. We had a fantastic offer with Oscar Whiskey and Rev de Civil, a 6-1 the field in the Ladbrokes World Hurdle. That went right. Pretty much everything for the bookmakers went wrong on the Friday.
OK, well, looking ahead to a change of code now, David, it's the Lincoln Handicap, obviously, at Doncaster on Saturday. Newmarket Yards look to have a pretty strong hand here.
Yeah, and that's often the case, Dave. William Haggis trains the favourite. Don Gosden trains the second favourite. William Haggis's horse, 9 Realms, is the 6-1 favourite. At the moment, that is the biggest blot in the book. It was a big back down from all price. I think we opened up at 12-1. There was plenty of 10-1 around. Into 6-1. We know that William Haggis has a brilliant record in this race. High-low, very wise, and of course Penitence, who really landed a gamble a few years ago. It runs off a mark of 93. It's an overused phrase, it could be anything, but 9 Realms looks to go off favourite. And fascinating how it works with some of the horses in behind. La Hague, as we say for John Gosden, really ought to love the forecast, soft ground, very, very lightly raced. Will Paul Hannigan take the ride, or will today's market move, which is Eshtibark, 16-1 into 12-1, come in for more support?
Interesting that. Do you have a fancy in the race yourself, personally?
Well, I was very, very impressed with Strictly Silver, who won the trial at the weekend. Now, Alan Bailey is very bullish about the horse, and I know that the jockey, Robert Tart, who was claiming 7 that day, now he rode out his claim at the weekend. He'll still be claiming 5. He's a really talented apprentice, this lad. I think he could, taking 5 off, I think Strictly Silver at 10-1 could really vouch for that trial form that we saw at the weekend and go well this weekend.
Robert Tart, certainly a jockey who's taken many an expert's eye over the last few months. Now, we're only at the start of the 2013 flat campaign, but I'm interested in your market as to who's going to be crowned champion jockey at the end of the season.
Yeah, Richard Hughes, the defending champion, he is the even money favourite. He is far and away the most popular guy in this market. He's already returned with somewhat of a bang, and bookmakers will not remember him very fondly. At the back end of last year, he had that 6-timer at Windsor. He has an enormous following now, Richard Hughes. The question is, can Ryan Moor stay fit enough to serve it up to him? He's 7-2, Ryan Moor. He's injured last year. Maybe he'll have the kind of firepower to serve it up to Richard Hughes. Other names in behind, Sylvester de Souza 7-1 and William Buick at 7-1. They could challenge. It looks for me to be between Hughes and Moore, and Hughes very much in pole position at even money.
That was David Williams of Ladbrokes with his thoughts about the Cheltenham Festival and, more importantly, looking forward to the Lincoln at Doncaster on Saturday. We'll have more from one of the major players in Newsboy on Track on Saturday. Join us then.